Welcome to RPV City Talk, featuring our very own RPV City Council members discussing current events and issues of interest to our community.
Hello everyone, welcome to RPV City Talk. I'm Liz Brown Swanson, and there's a lot to talk about happening right now in the city of Rancho Palos Verdes. It's a great honor for me to introduce once again the mayor of our city, the Honorable Mayor Larry Clark, back again with lots to talk about.
Liz, great to be back.
Thank you. Obviously right now the city's tackling a lot of issues. The biggest matter at hand is Terranea.
Indeed.
And on May 4th, they came before the council.
Right.
And the residents out there can be watching that meeting as it airs on the government channel to really get to grasp it all. But basically, they've come to you and said, we need the city's financial help.
You know, and I'm glad you bring that up because, quite frankly, there's a lot of misunderstanding out there. What Low Enterprises has proposed to the city is a potential for bedroom tax, or what's known as TOT, sharing for a period of time, finite period of time, to give them the basis to go for additional financing at this point in time in order to operate the resort. The fact of the matter is that we're in probably the worst economic time to open a resort since World War II. And certainly, as everyone knows in the community, we have the most challenging economics in the nation since the Great Depression. So the positive note here is the fact that Terranea, which is closing in on a $500 million or $500 million asset to the community, is virtually complete. The projected opening is still June, but the Lowe's do not have the ability to go, apparently, and secure the kind of financing they had intended to do before the meltdown of the economy, that is, converting some of their sellable units into a basis for additional loans and converting their construction loan. So we're considering in evaluating what's going on with that. As you indicated, we've already had one comprehensive city council meeting to hear the presentation from the Lowe's and do some preliminary in-depth questioning and direct staff with respect to what additional information analysis that we need in order to make a determination. So nothing's been decided yet, but it's fair to say this is a very, very challenging time. What I would emphasize to our community, though, is there are many projects that people see all throughout Southern California and through the nation that are in a state of suspended animation, if you will, because of the economy. Where we are now is we have the resort at Terranea virtually complete, and I think that's a very positive note.
On May 4th, when Mr. Lowe came before the council and made his presentation, again emphasizing this is the worst credit crunch since the Depression that he's in, and certainly he doesn't want to be in this position. He doesn't want to be opening in a hotel in this kind of a scenario, but he wants to open the hotel, obviously. The community wants to see this hotel open.
Right.
I mean, this project is very important to the community. In fact, I think during that meeting I heard that this will be the largest new employer in LA County. I mean, that is huge.
Right. I think the LA Times, in fact, covered that point. Another point that's not been well understood is this would not be, if the council goes forward, us loaning the Low Enterprises part of our budget. This would be diverting part of the revenue stream generated by the hotel bedroom tax back to them for a period of time, with a specific payback by a specific period of time with interest.
During that meeting, I heard a lot of different terms used. Is this a loan? Is this a grant? Is this a rebate? What is it specifically that at this point Terranea is requesting of the city? How would you describe to residents what they really need?
Well, what they're asking for is a TOT sharing. It would be paid to the city and then diverted back, a percentage of it diverted back to them as a temporary, you can call it whatever you want, a loan, an infusion of capital. But the fact of the matter is, what's important is it's a new revenue stream that is not in play in the city now and can't be in play in the city unless Terranea opens up.
Of course, once Terranea does open, beyond that transient occupancy tax, there is sales tax, there's property taxes, and of course, the project was sold to the city as sort of, which would eventually, it is the jewel of the community, and it can generate so much expected revenue. I mean, you've been with
And employment.
Yes, you've been with this project for a long time, both on the council and as a coastal commissioner. Kind of talk about the process, and I'm sure you cannot wait for that opening day.
Right, and actually, I even go back before that. I was on our city planning commission when this journey started with Lowe's and the development of what was Long Point post the previous failed project. So, absolutely. I mean, now we are going to look. The council as a whole is going to look with a very critical eye in terms of the details of what's before us, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and ensuring that we protect the community's interests. But clearly the big picture is where we stand in terms of the resort and seeing it open. And as you mentioned, besides bedroom tax, the projection right now for the first year of sales tax is over $1.5 million. That would be a clear infusion into our city general fund.
During that meeting, of course, there was sort of the theme saying, well, this would be almost the first time the council has ever been put in a position to make a decision like this. The city doesn't think of itself as a bank, was being sort of said, I know, by Councilmember Stern. And obviously, just how do you do this, and then maybe down the road another business comes forward. So what are you going to have to consider? What does staff need to come to you with on May 26th so you can make up your mind that this is the best thing for the residents?
Well, we're going to have to, well, first of all, let me respond to what Councilman and former Mayor Stern, immediate past Mayor Stern, had to say. Clearly, it's not a direct bank transaction. It's not a lending of money from us that we already have in play. This is, again, I will emphasize, if we go down this path, what it is diverting a proportion of a new revenue stream generated by the resort when it's operational. What we're going to have to have in play is a clear set of understandings and conditions relative to how much, for how long, and how is it paid back, and is it paid back with interest, because there is time value of money that has to play into this, no matter whether it's a diversion of part of a new revenue stream or not. So I just would encourage our community to stay tuned to where we are in this. This is a fairly dynamic and fast-paced moving issue and challenge.
What are you hearing from the residents so far since this has all come out? I mean, I know a lot of people are absolutely probably even stunned. I mean, we're all of a sudden, like you say, this $500 million project is standing there. It's beautiful. We're waiting for it to open, and who would have thought, even though it makes sense when we see what's happening everywhere with the economy. Right.
Well, so far what I'm hearing is, one, a lot of confusion about what this is. That's why I've tried to, a couple times here, clarify what we're talking about. Second, I'm hearing the overarching desire by many of our community leaders and residents to see it open. So with those two things in mind, again, safeguarding the community's interest, we'll be looking at this very closely on the 26th.
After the meeting, I did speak with Mr. Lowe and said, if on the 26th, when the council addresses this, because this is a huge matter for you to sift through, if you can't decide at that meeting, or the decision at this point is not to support that,